Hey, what is up, everybody? My hair, you know what? My hair is alright. I'm making this video. So, for some reason, I felt like I was more comfortable making this video with the front camera so I can look at myself. Holy crap, I just gained consciousness. That always happens. Like, whenever I'm making videos, I always making videos. Oh crap, that's a loud freaking clap. That's why I think making videos might be my way to tunnel myself out of my suffering and depression and abuse. Because like when I'm in this videos, when I'm in a video, it's like it's like on one hand, it's like I'm performing, and it's like I'm making it, like I'm getting myself to a future and I'm putting that on inspiring others. It's also egotistical because in my mind, I hope to be someone who documents myself crawling myself out of all the suffering that I'm transparent that I'm going through, and then have an amazing life after, and then people can go back and see, oh my God, he really crawled himself out of that. And that's like an egotistical thing, maybe. Well, partly it is, for sure, but it's also that's not necessarily negative. But it's like I get into it, and this is why I think making a YouTube series, like set series about, or like day 1, day 2 of accomplishing a goal, that can get me through it. And I feel like that's a really useful tool for people who are in my shoes as well, or in similar situations. Making videos, strictly about, like a video strictly about you crawling yourself out of this hellhole that you're in. But and I think I think it might get me really consistent and like determined and taking action, because I got to record myself taking the action, right? And that might be my saving thing. But goddamn, I'm in so much pain. So I just want to talk about, in this video, I made a video like 2 days ago or something like that about I was gonna make a video about, how I might take the leap and everything, or and then I was in such a depressed mood, such a low point. And you know what? I've been looking up on ChatGPT, like I've been telling ChatGPT what I'm going through, and it said like and I told him about how I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I told ChatGPT I've been diagnosed with PTSD, ADHD. I'm in this abusive environment, and it said like, the thing about it is, I always go through highs and lows, and I'm kind of dependent on Adderall, because Adderall is really connected to that. If it wasn't for the Adderall, my highs and lows, it'd take me like 20 hours to get to a high point, which I can plan a little bit in that high point, and I could actually do action. But that requires me to like stay up and if I take Adderall, then like it's a little bit better and a little bit more of a high point. By high point, I mean motivation, and like actually feeling like can do things, rather than just bed rotting and whatever the fuck. But yeah, today I have so many things I could say, man. Right now, two things. I'm gonna say two things, and I'm just gonna say two things more. One thing is, today I woke up and I remembered a dream, and then I think it was from a day or two ago, because I've been just bed rotting and whatever the fuck. It was about living in a car, and earlier in that day when I slept, I was thinking about like Job Corps, all these options, and I was so scared of like going to Job Corps and whatever, because that seemed like an actual. And ChatGPT was telling me like ChatGPT told me Job Corps was an option for me, and it was like saying like I could do it realistically. And I don't think I've ever heard of Job Corps before, to like a couple days ago, or like a day ago, when I saw that. And I don't know, no one ever suggested it to me. And then I researched Job Corps, and I was like, oh my God, that is going to be such a controlling. I don't know if I can handle that much control and that much social and that much, I'm already such a control freak as a person, because I have no control. I just want control in my life. and I was worrying about that. And the main goal that I've had for like the thing that the thing is actually a reasonable thing in my life is getting a car, and because it's like the quickest option. I think it'll be the most effective option, most towards myself and my goals. It's something I visualized and stuff like that. Getting my own car and just living in the car, like, it's something my parents, I don't think they would really, my parents, my family, my abusive family, it's something I don't think they would really like call the police on and say like, oh, he's whatever. And I just want to do that so much. The problem is I've completed driver's ed. My sister gave me money to pay for it. The driver's ed, the 30-hour online. I have it signed, paperwork, everything good. The only thing is that my mom just won't drive me to. She won't take the 14-minute drive to get me to get my written test. Even though I've already completed the driver's ed and everything, she just doesn't do it. And I actually asked her a couple of days ago, one of the last times I talked to her, I asked her, can you take me, how about you pick me up from school and then we drive to the DMV since you can already take me? And she screamed, she like blamed me. She said like, you're ruining the family. I'm not doing shit for you. And she had like a smile on her face, and she said, I'm not doing shit for you. You're ruining the family. You're ruining your life. And she said, I guess she said like she blamed me for like my mental illness, and she said, I forgot exactly what she said, but and I forgot it because it was traumatizing, of course, and just horrible. She said, but it's something that I want to say. She said, oh yeah, because earlier that day, or like a day before that, I texted 988 because I was feeling suicidal, and I felt like either I was getting close to either killing myself or killing one of my abusers, or like just snapping in general, or like just destroying the house up. And then the police came the next day because of it was either because of the abuse I mentioned, or because of I said I was having thoughts of suicide, or like the feeling that I might snap. And then cops came, and I went to like a voluntary, like I talked to a therapist, and the cops were so freaking cool, which is totally in contrast to my other things with cops. And so they took me to like, they said like, would you want to go? And they were like, you don't have to, but do you want to go to like talk to a therapist as like a voluntary checkup? And I was like, yeah. And so I talked to the therapist, basically what I'm extremely grateful for is that the therapist justified and, said I was, she said it is hard for me. It is hard. And that's like a main thing of what I'm looking for, is just justification for my mental illness and justification for my suffering that I'm going through, and to say like, it's not my fault. Not that it's not my fault, but that it's understandable, and that I don't have to be ashamed of it. Because if I wasn't ashamed of my mental health, I'd probably get so much done. If I wasn't ashamed of what I'm going through, that's what's with so much anxiety, and me not wanting to ask for help ever. Like, but I'll talk that in a little bit in my video, probably in the later parts of my video. I'm already okay. I need to get this done. I'm still on the first thing, but yeah, the last time I talked to my mom, really, I asked her that, and she just said, I'm not doing shit for you until we get you until we fix your mental health or something, or until we, and she said like, oh, you're going to end up in the system. And because growing up in my life, she's always said that like people in CPS like always get like molested and everything. And she said like, and she said they're going to drug you, and it's like she said this all my life, like, oh yeah, they're going to drug you and rape you and make you forget yourself. And she always tries to be philosophical. Like she says like, they're gonna make you forget yourself, and like you hold all the power, and they're gonna take it, or something like that. Because she is a nutcase. And I'm also kind of a nutcase, but like, I feel like I'm actually close to the truth. Out of all my, okay, here's the thing. I'm kind of getting off topic. I'm going to try to get back to it, but this is an insecurity I have. Out of all my siblings and everyone in the family, my mom and me are like the most crazy. But my mom is crazy in like the malicious, just horrible, abusive kind of way. But I'm crazy, I feel like, more so in like, yeah, the trauma type of way, and then getting some things from my mom, and then like inheriting, or like because of the crazy abuse, like I've kind of transmitted it or whatever. I've downloaded it from the trauma. But also I think like I like being, having these thoughts of like conspiracy theories and like frequencies, and like, but it's also kind of it's kind of a new age type thing, or like what's pushed on in like algorithms and stuff. But I also like that, and that's just an insecurity I have, is that I just don't want to be crazy like my mother, and I don't want to be like my mother, because all my siblings are incredibly shaped in horrific ways by my mother's abuse and the family's abuse, generational trauma and curses and all that. That's just an insecurity I have, though. But yeah, I'm just talking about going back to the car thing. She said, and I've been trying to get her to take me for like weeks, probably months, at this point, because I finished the thing a while ago. At this point, I just thought, like, what if I just get one of my friend's parents to just call my mom and like ask her to take me to the DMV or something. I don't know. And the problem is, I've been asking my friends' parents for some stuff, and like I feel like my friends' parents don't like me or something, or like the one hasn't responded, one said like whatever, but like I don't know, but moving on from that, I feel like living in a car is like my dream scenario at this point. Like, obviously my dream scenario is like living in the woods and, having my own car and having my own everything. But like, that's like more, I'm not saying that's not achievable, but that's like, if I like, in reality, that's not achievable. Like, that's not like, and that's also like the trauma thing of like, maybe I believe like all this metaphorical and like frequency stuff, like, because it's just like, seems like my only option. But like, in reality, getting myself to living in a car, because getting out of here is like the goal. Getting out of here. Two biggest goals are saving my dog from this abusive home and saving myself from this abusive home. So getting in a car would be probably one of the quickest ways, or quickest and most permanent ways. So that's going to take max like 7 months. Like, if it takes another month for my mom to drive me to get the written test, and then I could probably like somehow cheat the hours, like say like, oh yeah, my mom, I totally, or like, it's like I could probably cheat it and be like, yeah, I totally drove 50 hours with my guardian or something, because that's definitely not going to happen. Definitely not going to drive 50 hours with an adult over 25 and have my guardian be there or whatever. So I could probably cheat that, but the goal is to get my license and everything. That's like the dream. Live in a car. The problem is that I need my guardian, my mother, to be okay with that, and she's not okay with that. I mean, I'm not sure. I've tried so hard, so many different ways, so many different times to try to get her on board with that, whether it be through doing chores around the house, doing things, trying to manipulate her, trying to manipulate her by like acting like I want a relationship with her, trying to like do chores, act like I'm want her respect or something, which I might want her respect, like in subconsciously or something. I don't know, trauma, I don't know, but trying to act like, I don't know, like I'm doing what I'm doing, not so she can help me out, and it just, nothing works. So I don't know what to do, because I need her to drive me to get my car, get the permit, so I can live in a car in the future. And then I had a dream. So back to the dream. This goes into the dream. I had a dream, and it's just been in my mind. It's been popping in and out of my mind about. It was me in a car. It was like one of those kind of 1960s, 1970s boxy type cars, kind of like Eddie Guerrero's Lowrider, but like if it had a top over it, kind of like that, And I remember in the dream, like, even though that type of car in my dream, and it's not exactly like what I described, but that I had the car in the dream, and it's like at first I didn't like it, and then I remember eventually I grew to love that car, and then I just slept in it, or I didn't sleep in it, but I just remember I had the car. I didn't like it at first, and then at first I learned to love the car. And maybe that symbolizes not the car, maybe that symbolizes the Job Corps thing, because I was having this intense fear of going to Job Corps because ChatGPT said it was really accessible. So, and it's basically Job Corps is like you're like in a place where like it's like school, but then you just stay at the school all day or something like that. And you sleep there and you can't really get out. And obviously until you're 18, like you can't even leave the site unless you get like a weekend pass or something pass. I'm not really sure, but I know that it's just gonna be horrible because I don't know how I'm gonna make videos and really be myself. And it's now that I just said all of that, like I can probably still make videos and be myself. It's just gonna be really, really hard. At least my fear is gonna be really, really hard because of the social aspect. Like pretty sure we don't even get our own rooms. I'm gonna be doing school, which I just fucking hate. And I'm not sure how the school is going to be, but it's going to be scheduled. I have to do this. I have to do this by this time. I have to do that by that time. My control is going to get out the window. I'm going to feel so lack of control, and I might just I'm afraid my mind will literally like collapse in on itself because I'm just so out of control. I don't have any control in that environment, and it's just like, I don't know, but maybe it's signifying the fact that I'm not going to like, I don't like the idea of going to Job Corps, but maybe I'll warm up to it and I'll start really liking it or something. I don't know, but that was just what I wanted to talk about. It's already 17 minutes in the freaking video. That's a classic Tripper Boy Liam Collins video though. It always wanders off. That was the first thing of two things I wanted to say real quick. I can't remember the second thing. Maybe I tied it in. I don't know. But today, right now in this video, because I'm probably going to make more videos today, I want to talk about options. Basically, but also I have to take a shit. I've had to take a shit. I don't have to. I have an urge to, want to. I don't want it. I never really necessarily want to take a shit. But sometimes I kind of do. Also because when I get into a flow state or like I call them highs and low swings. When I get into a state that is actually bearable. Let me just finish. When I get into a state that's actually bearable, a lot of the time I just go into the bathroom, turn on the shower, and I just like have a bunch of sticky notes, kind of like this, and I have my journal and just write sticky notes, ideas, and stuff like that. And most of the time I also take a shit at the same time. Most of the time, like I feel like the high swing coming, the high state. Sometimes it comes from it comes from Adderall. Sometimes and it comes from just like the previous 12 hours of the day, I was just in the fucking dumps of despair and just not despair, but just dumps of just numb suffering and just horribleness. And then I eventually get out of it, because my moods go it's not even on a scale. It's the state I'm describing is not even it's that broke the scale, not even scaling up and down. It's just a state of emptiness and dullness and horribleness. And then I eventually after at 5 p.m. or something, my body and my whatever gets me into a state where I can be like, okay, I can actually move. I can actually whatever, and I can start even 1% getting into a mind state of I can do this, or I can move a little bit. I can move my body to do an action, But also, hold on, let me write another thing. What the frick? And what's worse about everything is that, or I'm not necessarily worse, but which is that the only way that I can snap out of like this, I don't know if it's depression. I call it like the numb, dumb, dull, like pain is through waiting is how I get out of it most of the time, through waiting and through like I got out of it by staying up 36 hours and taking a walk, and then I was finally able to get into a state where I could actually feel like I might be able to take an action and get somewhere and go. Like I could finally be able to like contact a number, or like test out the bus pass, or call somebody, or ask somebody for help or something, or like ask one of my friend's parents to drive me so I could get my bike fixed or something like that. Or like research a contact for me to call to get my bike fixed, or a vet to call for Simon. But even in that state, even after staying up all night and having that and getting into a state of kind of motivation, of like flow, I still didn't have nearly enough energy, and I just ended up sleeping for like another 36 hours. And that's what led to today, actually. But I made this thing. This is just options that I have. Matter of fact, I didn't actually read this because I made this like 36 hours ago. Again, 36 hours ago, when I was kind of in that state. Because in that state, I can plan more. Like, not necessarily do more, but I can plan more and have more ideas. But this is just options that I have. Options, all of which require extreme motivation for me. All of which are so difficult and require so much motivation that it's going to be incredibly hard to do, and it's probably going to take me like 36 hours. I keep saying 36 hours, but like multiple days before I could even start to research each option, unless I kind of get into a flow state. But like that's just how bad my thing is, and like not all of these, but but this is just like options for what I could do futures. Can you see it? I haven't read this actually. So this is, I will leave this house is one of my goals. These are just all of the options, or like a couple of the options that I know I could have. Job corps, homelessness. I tried homelessness for a while. By a while, I mean like a couple days. Sleeping outside in the field. Can't really do that. I mean, I might end up doing that if like nothing else works and I just have to get out. And homelessness, that could lead to like sleeping on the streets, or sleeping. That could lead to other, because I'm probably going to, like, police are going to see me or something like that. That will lead to other ways of getting help and everything. Rent a room. Don't really have anyone to rent a room with. Asked multiple friends' parents if I could, rent a room over at their house. And that was when my mom was actually consenting to it. And I told them, like, oh yeah, my mom is totally fine with it. And, I had a plan and everything. And then and nobody hit me up about that. Or they all said no, rather. Or they said no, or they said, I'll talk to my husband about it, and then they never got back to me about it. So I don't know. Get a car. That's going to require, that's about 7 months away probably. And that's going to require my mom to actually be okay with driving me like 14 minutes to the DMV. Go outside more. And this is like leaving the house in general. Some of these are like more permanent than others. Some of these require more things than others. And I made this list all in like probably 20 minutes total. Just ideas. So rent a room. I don't know. I could maybe my friend Leonte said something about he's getting an apartment. I asked if I could rent a room with him. He said maybe in a couple months. Then it's like that whole thing didn't work out. Stay at friend's house is kind of similar, but like maybe I could stay like a couple days at a friend's house, then stay a couple days at another friend's house, and stay a couple days at another friend's house. The only problem with that is I have a big insecurity about if anybody would let me stay at their house, or like if I feel like they're all tired of me. Like I feel like all my friends' parents are tired of me, and just don't like me. at all, or like think I'm a horrible evil person or something, or just like think I'm really annoying, or just think like I'm lying about my abuse or something. And a lot of this is actually, I know a lot of this is just insecurity and just not really true. But it's also like, I guess I feel a lot of resentment that they're not helping me anymore. Because if I was in their shoes, I would be helping someone like me. But then again, I'm not in their shoes, and also like I know my mind is kind of twisted. Not like my mind is twisted. Like, I mean, like my mind is like perception of reality and everything is not, maybe like I can't empathize with, I don't know. But like also like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm such a bother, and I don't know if they will even help me anymore with anything. But yeah, staying at a friend's house, rent a room, then get a car. I already said that. Go outside more. Go outside is like probably the one where I can. My nose is so itchy. I'm in this moldy ass car because this is the only place that I can go that's inside my house that I can actually talk. Gosh, this is the only place where I can actually have any sort of privacy. My face mask broke. Oh yeah, remember I had the whole thing about I'm gonna live in this car. Yeah, well, I found white mold growing, and then I found I'm pretty sure is black mold growing under this car seat. A lot of it. But matter of fact, I'll show you. And this is big because it smells really like bad in here, which is weird. I thought it was like maybe my dog peed in here or pooped in here or something, or like something happened. And then I started realizing, and I started smelling it more, and it just smelled more like weird. And then I saw mold, so I think it's just the mold. I was like, damn, I do not smell that bad. And I kind of asked ChatGPT about it and everything. And ChatGPT was like, yeah, that's mold. That's mold, buddy. I don't have a freaking flashlight right here. But I'll show you in a second. I'll show it in a second. So, and hopefully someone can get back to me and tell me if that is mold. But just staying in this car is probably a no-go. This was like this was actually such a this was my safety. Like this was the plan. This is living in the car in the garage. They don't come in here. You know, I have privacy for the most part. You know, I'm in my house still. Like I'm in like an area which is private. I don't really so it's not like pushing against my boundaries. Like I don't have to talk with anyone else, and I don't have the extreme anxiety and like extremely low energy that comes with that, and just zapping of all my energy. But here, let me see. Where's the flashlight? Do I have a flashlight here? Yes. Under the seats, hopefully you can see. Do you see that? You see that stuff? And it just smells horrible, dude. Especially because I steam cleaned the freaking thing, and there's probably more growing. I'm probably not getting a good look at it. I'm not sure if that's dust or if that's mold or a mixture. You see all that? It looks like black hair growing. And if you look at like past what's on the metal and everything, if you look at like more of the padding or the wood, it looks like more stereotypical mold, like just growing on everything. And it just smells horrible, dude. I don't know if I got a good shot of all of it. Oh god. Oh god. Oh my god, I'm about to dislocate my shoulder. Okay. It just smells horrible, dude. And what's crazy is oh crap. what's crazy I've been freaking spending so much time in here too. Like months in here. Or like a month in here. Not like a month straight, but I've been sleeping in here for a long time. And I'm gonna continue. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna continue staying here a long time because this is the only place I can go. This is like the only safe place in my house. And going outside is like the main thing about, what does that say? I think I wrote love right there. And the worst part, going back to the going outside. Going back to the going outside right here. I don't have a fucking bike because that bike broke. I don't have a way of I don't know. I don't know if my mom or anybody will even drive me to any place anymore. Maybe my mom won't even drive me to the DMV. My grandparents, I don't know. Probably not. Or I'm not sure if they will. They probably will if they feel like they have to, like if it's school or something. I don't have a bike. The bike breaking is seriously a kick in the freaking balls because that's so much control I lost there. So much control. So much freedom right there. Because going out, having to walk all the way to a place where I feel private enough so I can make a video or I can think is so incredibly difficult to get myself to the state where I can where I can like decide to walk to like the field or something, and it's a field pretty close to my house, but still, even when I'm in the field, I always have a fear of getting watched or that I'm being heard, or just really anxious social anxiety, really, really, really bad. And that's why I haven't walked or like gone to a place where I feel private in like months, because I don't have a good way of getting there, and the way of getting there is to thrust myself into getting stared at by people and having to interact with people or walk by people. And then also it's all most of the trouble is getting myself out of the house. Once I'm already on the walk, like, oh, I can walk. Like, it's easy to walk to another place, or it's easy to walk. But getting out of the house is making the decision and just locking in and just going. That's the difficult part. And what's also horrible about that is my mom loves going on the front porch, and I feel like whenever I go out, I have to put earbuds in to walk. Even if I go through the other side, I have to put earbuds in to walk out, because there's always a chance of her screaming, or my grandparents drive and then my mom helps them get the wheelchair out or talks with them. There's a lot of screaming going on in the driveway, in the streets, because my mom loves screaming with my grandparents out there. I think my mom gets turned on by the public humiliation or something about just screaming so everyone in the neighborhood can hear, with the grandparents. It's just so annoying. So I feel like I have to like put in earbuds, go out, get dressed, put on earbuds, pack everything, charge everything, and then just the social anxiety. And I just walking with the heavy backpack because I'm going to be carrying stuff, walking to the field or walking to a place where I'm still going to have fear over being watched and being whatever. Then it's going to be internet connection. I do have a hotspot, but still the hotspot doesn't really work, and it's just like, oh God, it's so infuriating. And it's cold, and it might rain, and it's like if I can't really do my whole sticky note things, because my sticky notes are going to get blown away and I can't organize my sticky. It's just so hard, dude, to get anything. It's to take a walk. But going outside more, that is, if I get into it's consistency, routine is just, those words don't even, like, it's not even going to, I've never been consistent with much, even though I've been wanting to be so consistent, and I've tried so many times. I've had so many habit trackers and just like whatever. But if I'm like, but once I'm out of the house, I'm in like a private, semi-private environment, I feel like I can get a lot more done. And that's what going outside is. Going outside is like the most accessible, like it's the part that I have the least fear about, because going outside, these are more like getting a car, like windy, like shelter, foster care, mental hospital, Job Corps. Those are permanent things, you know, more permanent, more lack of control. Going outside is just like literally just spending more time outside, which is really going to help me, but I don't know if I can get there, especially because I don't have a bike. If I had a bike, dude, and this is just, and this might be just me like making it up, or like me like saying I will, but in reality I won't, like, or me just like manipulating myself. If I had a bike, dude, and I was doing this, I would, dude, my life would be so fucking much easier and simpler and better, because I would just be outside more. And it just takes so much of the anxiety. It takes so much of just, it's more flowy. Like, it's more flowy of like, I can just hop on my bike to the field, or bike somewhere semi-private and just stay there, you know, preferably out in nature. I can just bike, and it might take a little bit while, but it's like it's not going to take much energy, whatever. And then when I'm walking, I have a fear of like I walk silly or something, and I have a fear like, and like I'm not very coordinated. I have back issues and everything, and I fear like I like hurt myself when I walk or something like that, or like I hurt my body or something. It's just so many little freaking things, and that just like destroy me. But if I had a working bike, dude, and that would set me up so good for the future. Like, I could get so many places. I won't need as much transportation. I will actually get to school more likely. I was taking my bike to go to school before it broke on me twice. Yeah, I was taking my bike to school. Then I had to get my freaking parents to drive me, or my family to drive me, and that was so difficult to do. And I'm not doing that shit again. I'm not getting my parents or my family to drive me. Like, and I say that, but I might end up doing it. But like, geez, it's my family does not know how to be not abusive. Like, my family, every member of my family, except for my sister. My sister can shut it off sometimes, but I think my sister's just like, my sister's just in a state where like, I don't like thinking people are evil. However, my sister just has obviously not pre-built. And pre-built, she's an amazing person, just like everybody else is an amazing person deep down. But with the life she's had and her reaction to the life she's had, she just has so little empathy, and just like does not like helping other people. And she's so incredibly narcissistic. And it hurts so bad because of the way she's abused me, and it hurts so bad because out of all my family members in my immediate family, she's the one which like I would guess I was closest with. And we've been through, both of us, so much abuse together, and it just hurts so much that she's so much like the person who abused her. I hope you're watching this, Britton. It just hurts that you're so much like the person who caused so much pain to me and everybody else. And it hurts that you've been so abusive, and you can't even do something like take my dog to the vet. But my sister's probably not going to watch this. Unless I become super famous, and then like she's gonna be then I have this fantasy where like I become super famous, super successful, and then my family goes back and watches this video and then starts to regret all of their actions deeply and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe how horrible I was." And that's a fantasy that like I've kind of had for a long time, and every time I had it, I knew it was kind of egotistical and like just like not healthy, or like not really what I should be thinking about. But and it comes from a place of just like wanting to be right and wanting to prove that I'm right, and wanting to, and just like it comes from a place of still having attachment to my abusers and everything. Gosh. And just how much everything gets to me. And I've been thinking a lot, like, God, I would be so much more powerful if every time that I heard screaming or banging, I could just interpret it. Like, if I was just like, if I was another person and I got into my body and I heard all these things and all these yelling and things, like, if I was transported to another house, right? Another family who was this abusive and saying all this abusive stuff, it wouldn't affect me as much because I could just know that, like, okay, that's another person. All that's happening is this person is screaming out of ignorance, out of attempts to hurt me, attempts to gain control, attempts out of self-hatred themselves. And it's just, okay, this is screaming, this is banging on the walls, this is threats. How can I work off this? Which is a good thing to do. But unfortunately, I've grown up with this. I've grown up with these same abusers, and they've shaped my life, or they've, influenced, or like I've shaped my life. That goes in. I don't like ever saying like someone shaped my life, or like anything shaped anybody, because we always have complete control, right? But like manipulated me, or like helped manipulate myself or something, or like my reaction. Like that's what I don't like about the English language. Is like whenever I can't find words, I always blame the English language, but it's true. What's a good word for like influence me, but not really influence me, like, but influence me to influence myself or whatever, right? Or something like that. I don't know. Because if you say like, that just basically says everything is nurture, or everything is like, just like the environment you were born in completely shapes who you are. But I like to think that, like, even if someone was abused crazy and had completely manipulated, like, they still had like a spark in them that could still choose, could still choose to not be shaped by the reality or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I wish I just didn't have any emotional attachment. I would feel like I would not really be as fazed by the abuse. But anyways, I don't know. I'm not sure. I got kind of sidetracked because I got sad about my sister, and just how just fucking, gosh. And then she has a boyfriend, which, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I've been wanting to text my sister and say, like, can I talk to your boyfriend, and just letting him know that he's in a fucked up situation, because, like, holy shit, she is not going to help that guy at all. I don't know who this guy is, really. He kind of looks like Markiplier, which makes me feel worse for him because I kind of like Markiplier. But like my sister is probably not going to say like, oh yeah, you meet my boyfriend, because we met one time and it's like, I think she's like trying to hide her boyfriend or something, or I'm not sure. But point is, I guess I talked to the therapist about this, and the therapist actually said this to me when I went into that voluntary thing, because it was about my dog and just how much that is hurting me. And she said, like, yeah, the abuse, you see it happening, it's been horrible and just to you, and now you see it happening to another being. And she said like, yeah, it's been happening to you. You've been going through so much shit and abuse and pain and cruelty, and and now you see it happening to another being, and that's what's really hurting you. She said something like that. But she said you've been going through it, and now you see it happening to another human being, and that's and that's extremely painful to go through. And as she said something like that, but more on the dot than what I just said. And I was like, and when she said that, I started to tear up because it was just so true. And now I see that happening to, or see that probably is what's going to happen to my sister's boyfriend. And I worried about this with my sister's previous ex-boyfriend, who which is the one she tried to kill, and also the one that was incredibly, he was also incredibly abusive to me, and just the type of person who was like, gosh, oh my god, oh my god, I'm remembering so many scenarios. I walked in on, because he's like kind of a nutcase, you know, he's kind of crazy. He's been to mental hospitals and everything, which is like, I might go to a mental hospital. I'm actually very likely probably going to go to a mental hospital soon, just to get a break from everything. I walked in on, like, first of all, when my sister tried to kill herself, and I was the one that stopped her from cutting herself open, and she threw the knife at her boyfriend. Said that boyfriend, like, literally, I was on the phone, and he was like, don't call the police, and he was like really getting in my face about it. And this man was like 26 years old or something at the time, and he was like, there was a few times where I did feel like physically threatened by this guy. But anyways, freaking, I was about to name drop that guy because he has a pretty cool name. Sinclair, is his last name, which is like, that's just the coolest name, Sinclair. Isn't that the name of one of the characters from Presentable Liberty? Like one of their last names, Sinclair. By the way, I always go back and watch Markiplier play Presentable Liberty and the other game. The two Presentable Liberty games. By the way, rest in peace to that guy. Rest in peace. I think the game designer killed himself. But anyways, but yeah, I go back. That's like one of my favorite game playthroughs of all time. Extremely nostalgic because I like his song. I sang his song to my family once when Markiplier was on the ukulele. This my kitty cat. How about you? I make a virus and the whole world is gonna die. That's such a nostalgic song to me. Of just Markiplier going crazy. And just like and I sang it to my family. I remember we went to Golden Corral, and then I sang it on the drive home because I was playing FNAF music in the car to like show my family members, and my grandma said like, "Oh, that is disgusting," and you know, it really put down. And that's probably where I got a lot of fear of my music and everything, and I had a lot of shame about everything. And then I sang that song where Markiplier was on the ukulele when he was playing the game about where you play, not where you play as Dr. Money, but where you like do the machine with the money, and then your cat gets killed, and then you use its fur as money or whatever. And I sang that to my family, and my family was like, "Oh yeah, you're singing a cool song." And then I sang, the whole world make a virus, and the whole world is gonna die. And they were like, and they started laughing, and they're like, "What the heck?" And I guess that was a cool family memory of like, you know, a memory which was actually a family time where I felt like actually accepted, and like that I made a joke and everything. I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just singing the song, and then like I felt they all laughed and everything, and then I felt accepted, and I felt like I was funny. But anyways, where did that spiral? That spiraled off. Oy, oy, oy. What was I talking about? Right. Her boyfriend. Yeah, he was like, "Don't call the cops." When my sister tried to kill him and then kill herself. He was just such an such a enabler of abuse. He was completely behind, or almost completely behind when I talked to him about all the abuse that him and I were going through, because he was also getting abused, even though he was like older than my sister, and he was just he almost got off on being abused. Like it's actually crazy. Like he almost got off on being abused. He would blame it on like, because he would say like, oh, because he was also like kind of crazy, like kind of like astrology and everything. He would say like, you know, it's kind of like and he's kind of a scrawny guy. You know, say it's because of, and he would always pull his hair. He's like, but it's because of the abuse. I mean, it's because of the moon. You know, and you know, women time of the month. You know, and you know, he's kind of crazy and kind of he was autistic, I think, or whatever the fuck. And no shame against him, but you know, also kind of fuck him because he. I hope he has an amazing rest of his life, but damn, it's just it's insane that like someone out of the family comes into the family and turns out to be like just also an incredibly abusive guy, incredibly abusive, horrible guy. But it also makes sense because that's the type. My sister is also incredibly abusive and horrible, so that she probably attracts those guys. And he lived with us, and he was just fucking. I would walk into my mom's room because I hear like chanting or something. I literally heard like chanting, and it was my sister. This is crazy. It was my sister and my mom on the bed, and my mom was like smiling, and she was like stood up straight, like proudly smiling, and my sister was like kind of like tucking her knees, like kind of crying, but also like looking down. And I see what they were looking down, and it was the sister's boyfriend, Mr. Sinclair, and he was like on his knees chanting to both of them. He was like, I'm so sorry, like oh my god, it pisses me off. It's like the people I've been around with, dude. And this is like, I consider this guy like one of my best friends for a while because we used to play chess a lot. And I hope you see this motherfucker. You know, I wish you the best, but like, why were you like, it's like he got off on it. And the fact that he was so content with me getting abused as well. And he was also doing the abusing, a lot of the abusing. And he was doing a lot of, like, I would get abused in a obviously cruel and horrible way, and he would be like, "Oh no, it's your fault" or whatever, and he would just buy into. He was like, so he's such a follower of a person. He doesn't know he has power, and he doesn't know he has power in himself. He doesn't believe in himself, so he just follows all these abusive people, and he teams up on the person who is getting abused. And when we're alone and I say like, what, like, look at what we're going through and everything, he says like, oh, it's because they're women and it's their blood is flowing, you know, it's their time of the month or whatever. And then he would be like, and then he would blame everything on me and say like I'm ruining the family, or like give that vibe, you know, I'm the problem, say that I'm the problem. Meanwhile, I'm getting abused by everybody. I don't know. It's a horrible situation. Way I'm describing it, and he was on his knees, like literally chanting, praying to them both, as my mom was just like on her bed. She's a fat fucking tub of lard, and she's an alcoholic and a drug addict, and she's just and just completely horrible and just like so ignorant as a person. He was just chanting to it, and it just hurts because of just my mother is just the type of person who loves power and loves control and loves abusing others and abusing me, and loves just knowing that she's causing me pain and causing me confusion. And she did that with my sister's boyfriend, who was almost 30 by this time, but he was, and I don't want to, by the way, that was not me farting, that was my ankles. If you heard that pop, that was my ankles, not me farting. I don't want to be, I keep saying his age, but like, goddamn, like I was 13 to 15, getting so abused, and all this time you were, oh god, I just remembered so many memories. And he was also always screaming, having mental breakdowns. It was just it was literally like a war ground in that house. It was literally a war zone of just stupidity and ignorance and just abuse and cruelty, and zero accountability from anybody. And I'm having this fear that like I'm blowing everything out of proportion. I'm like saying, oh, everybody else is the problem, I'm not the problem. But also, I was like 14 to 15 and he was there, and I blew up, and I screamed, and I did stuff, but like from 14 to 15, I completely shut everybody out. I tried to shut myself away like as much as possible, not as much as possible, but like I gradually started talking less and less, interacting less and less, stopped whatever, and I've been trying to separate myself from these people, from the abuse, from becoming like these people, from being like these people. And it's crazy how horrible it was, and how horrible, and I'm just so stuck on the fact that there was another person who came from a completely separate background who fit so well into the abuse. He fit like a glove into, oh yeah, that's another way that there can be more dysfunction in this house. That's another way to cause Liam more pain and more sabotage and more suffering, and like in other areas, you know. Like the only thing that would tie this whole thing up in a bow would be like a stereotypical abusive like stepfather who like gets drunk and like I have to fight with or something. Like that's the only thing that would like tie this whole thing into a bow of like, okay, everything's literally every person in this house is meant to get at me. But thankfully that hasn't, or maybe not even thankfully, like, because like if that would have happened, I probably would have been, I don't know, but like thankfully that like there hasn't been like a stereotypical freaking I'm just thinking about it. It's so crazy, everything that's happened. And just like, I know it seems so disjointed and like I'm not explaining it right, or like what I'm saying couldn't possibly be the case, but like everything is true, and it's crazy. I'm just so stuck on the fact, like I remember that one vivid memory of him chanting to my sister and my mother, like, I'm so sorry, I love you. Like he was on his knees, because he's like that type of person who is like, he's literally like a stick figure, and he like gets into these weird positions, and he's like, I'm sorry. He's like the Joker from the fucking, he's like Walking Phoenix. And he was like, I'm sorry. Oh God, it's just, I don't know if he was getting off on it, like literally like getting sexually turned on. I don't know if that's like his secret kink, was getting abused and like just like loving being part of the abuse and everything. I'm not sure, but it's just so crazy. And I got off on tangents, but I of course, it's a Triple Boy video, and it's what's been happening. Maybe I should actually start a video, and like actually like promise myself that like I'm not going to get off on any major tangents. That's probably what I should do. That's what I'm probably going to end up doing. But just to go back to my point, was I see someone who, I see another being who is going to be in just a whirlwind of horribleness and abuse, and who will like almost definitely will not benefit from being with my sister. And God, I wish I could just warn him. I don't know who he is. I don't know what possibly could get, because he was like kind of buff. He was kind of whatever the fuck, which makes me, I don't know if, and the only, because I don't know how you could be like attracted to my sister. Like my sister's like average looking, maybe a little bit above average, but like I don't know how you could be attracted to anything about my sister. Like, then again, like it might be like she puts on a front. She doesn't show how horrible and abusive and just ignorant she is. So maybe she's just manipulating this person, this guy. Maybe the guy's just in it for the sex. Which I don't know if I don't even want to think about, but I don't know if my sister's in it, like has sex with him. But that's like my only way. Or this guy's just like, again, just that same type of person maybe my sister just attracts abusive guys, or people that she can abuse. But this guy didn't seem like that. He was like I don't know if he was Korean or like, but he was like kind of fat, but like not like, he was like gym, like dad bod gym fat. But he was not like dad bod, like he was young, but he was like husky, you know, like he had some muscle. And it struck me as like weird seeing this guy, because I only met him once, because it was when I was helping my grandma get grandpa get his wheelchair out the car, and then I went outside, and then this guy was helping him, and I thought it was my neighbor, and I was like, oh hey, and then I realized my sister was next to him. I was like, what the heck? And then it was kind of an awkward interaction, and then him and my sister drove off. I was like, oh, that's her boyfriend. It was crazy. But I just thought about him, because I wish I could have just told him or let him know. I don't know, I'm probably not gonna get that chance again. I mean, I could just like ask my sister, but like my sister's just in such a fucking weirdo mood, and she's also always at his house, or always she's been away from the house for so long, like multiple days, multiple periods, for like a couple days at his house. I assume at his house. I think I've heard that he's at his house. She's at his house. And so yeah, okay. How about this? If you're seeing this, if my sisters let you know about my channel, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you. I don't know if you were Korean. You just kind of like, I don't remember. I have a brain fog, and obviously a lot of fucking mental health things, and like I can't remember really what you look like. I can only remember really a vibe of what I got from you, and it's like you don't seem like the type of person who like visually, you don't seem like the type of person who I would assume would be like, you seem too healthy as a person. I don't know, but like to this possibly Korean, possibly whatever race, or I don't know, this guy who just didn't seem like he's at a low enough frequency for my sister. I'm just letting you know. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your mental health is. I don't know why you're attracted to my sister. I don't know if it's just for the sex, or if it's just for the, because I'm saying just for the sex, because I don't know. I don't understand how you could ever think that it's good for you, like a good choice. But I'm saying, as someone who has been so abused by this person, and been so just knows and been around this person all my life, do not, like, you need to get yourself out of that freaking scenario. Leave this bitch, okay? Leave this girl. She's not good for you. She's not good. She's not good. Maybe she'll become good in a few years, hopefully, but she is bad news bears, okay? I'm just telling you, I'm just letting you know. So hopefully you are seeing this, Markiplier man. Anyways, I got off on a whole tangent. It kind of started with me talking about my dog, and the therapist saying like why I feel such a way about so much stress about getting my dog out of this abusive environment. Freaking, you know what? This did spiral off into me. This did spiral off into tangents, but you know what? It's okay, because I'm hoping the next videos I make, I'm going to just discipline myself and promise myself not to, whatever, get off into tangents, and then therefore I could be more focused and be more punchy, and I could actually help myself more. And when I make these types of videos about, my plan is to, because I'm always talking about like making a leap, you know, actually finally choosing to get out of here, choosing to face my fears or go past my fears. I'm thinking my YouTube series will help a lot with that, because it'll keep me accountable. There's a lot of pros about YouTube, especially like a YouTube series dedicated, titled playlist, like getting myself out of my abusive home, part 1, part 2, part 3, or saving my dog from abusive home, part 1, part 2, part 3, like those type of videos, like having literally that same title, or like day 1, day 2, day 3, that could really lock me in, and I could be more motivated to do that. Okay, so anyways, that was for the homelessness, rent a room, getting friend's house, go outside, getting a car. Mental hospital is something that I'm probably gonna end up doing. The main issue with that is actually transportation there. Like, first of all, I don't know how, like, because I have had suicidal thoughts, feelings, thoughts, feelings. Then also the feeling like I could snap and kill one of my abusers, probably my mom, or feeling that like I'm going to snap and then like destroy the entire house, and then the parents are going to call the cops or something. My mom is going to call the cops. She said, like, if you ever do something like that again, I'll call the cops. You go to juvie. I just farted and it smelled really bad, and it's in a closed car. Okay, anyways, so the main issue with this right now is that just like I'm not so much afraid of what it will be like, because I know I'm not going to be there long, right? It's only like maximum 2 weeks. That's what the therapist told me. Maximum 2 weeks. I'm scared about what the effects will be like. I'm scared about what will happen. Like, am I going to be able to go back to my house after this? Like, are my parents going to pick me up? And then, because if it's like a thing where I go to the mental hospital and then like they determine like, okay, he's healthy, that, because this is probably going to lead to CPS and foster care, or like something around CPS. Will they determine that like, okay, he should not be going back home? Because I shouldn't be, but I'm also scared of not going back home. Will they be determined like, okay, yeah, he should not go back home. He needs help. He needs to go to some places. And then if that happens, then guess what? I won't be able to save my dog, Simon. I also won't be able to, like, I might be jumping too quick. Like, I don't know if I, like, because in the mental hospital, I think they're going to really, like, they're going to take me more serious, you know, about all the abuse that I'm saying I'm going through in like, my thoughts, you know, and my suicidal thoughts. And I'm just, the consequences of what could happen, and then especially with my dog, I don't want to, you know, freaking fire the eggs too quickly, and then not be able to go back and save my dog, and because I'm like not allowed to go back there, or like I'm in CPS and I won't be able to go back there. So, but honestly, mental hospital, the things that are attractive about that is that it's probably not super permanent, but it's a break. And because that's what the therapist said. The therapist said it's more like a break. You know, you can go on, you can put yourself away from your home, and I would be excited about having a break where I can recuperate. It's a thing where like I'm forced to go there as well. Like, like if any of my freaking friends' parents allowed me to go to their house for like 2 weeks or however long a mental hospital, like say like a mental hospital, I'm going to be there for a week. If my friends let me stay at their house for a week, it's going to be painful because of social anxiety, and because of like they're going to want me to go with them to like go on a trip, or like go with them to soccer games or whatever. Whereas a mental hospital, I'm going to have more like, okay, they know why I'm there. I'm there because of the pain that I'm going through, and you know, I can go to these things at this time, and I don't like the more of school and everything in the Job Corps, because I'm so restricted, and but with mental hospital, it's more of like, I know that I'm going to regain the control, and it's not going to be like it's not like I'm scheduled and I'm controlled for like all my life. It's only going to be like probably a week or so, and then I'll probably be back home, and then hopefully I'll be, and yeah, it's only going to be for like a week where I'm super controlled and like locked down. I've also heard that you don't get to use your phone, and that you can like write in your journal whenever. You can keep a journal when you're in the mental hospital, and I feel like that would really help me. Just not them taking my phone away until like the week is over and I get out of the mental hospital. The main issue with that, though, with going to the mental hospital in my mind is, yeah, the consequences of what could happen, like if I'm not able to save my dog or something, or like I'm forced into like a scenario like Job Corps, I'm forced into CPS, I'm forced into a path in life where I could have done something much better, much more, whatever, which much better for me. It's that, and then also, I don't know how I'm going to get to the mental hospital. That's actually the biggest worry. How, like, who am I going to call? Am I going to call my friend's parents and ask them, oh yeah, I'm feeling really bad and I want to go to a mental hospital, and they're going to drive me there? Am I going to ask my grandma to drive me there? I'm not going to ask my mom. Am I going to ask my grandma to drive me there, my grandpa to drive me there, my sister? That's going to be incredibly painful and also incredibly humiliating, and I'm probably going to go through abuse going there as well on the drive there. I would take my bike, but my bike is broken, so I might use a bus. Take the bus, take public transport and everything. Because they said like, if you ever want to go, because the police took me to a place called Mental Health Urgent Care in like Midtown, because I'm in Sacramento in like Midtown. So she said, oh yeah, if you ever feel like you like having thoughts or need a break, come to this place, then talk with us, and then we'll transport you to like a mental hospital where you could stay out for like a week or something. So how am I going to get to the mental hospital? I might use public transport. The thing about that is I don't know how to use public transport. I don't know how to use a bus. I have a bus pass, but I don't know how I'm going to use that. I don't know what to do with that. I've never used that. I've used it a couple times with like my friends, but I've always just come along with them. I don't know what the routes are, or how to plan for that, and doing that, actually trying to research that, and then actually like testing it, like going on a bus and saying like showing them the bus pass. Or I'm not sure how it works, or like that requires a lot of motivation, because I have to get out of the house, go to a bus stop, then the social anxiety thing of like, okay, do I have to show them the bus pass? Do I have to pay? Or I don't have to pay, but is this the right type of bus? Or like, where am I going? Talking with the bus pass, all the people on the bus, that is so much fear and everything. And it's that, and that's like an extremely large goal, and a goal that is small. Like small is like not really, but it requires so much motivation and energy, and it's so much fear that I have to push past to do that. So, but yeah, thought I just saw more mold in here. Anyways, yeah, it's getting to the mental hospital, or getting to the place where I could go to the mental hospital. Because the other thing is I could call 988, and I could have police drive me to the mental hospital, or drive me there, because like what happened last time. But then if then that's the whole humiliation thing of going and calling 988, and then having the police, who, thankfully, this time I got police who are actually really cool. But if I get like any other police who is in this area, who have been just continually extremely disrespectful, like literally have insulted me to my face, called me a compulsive liar, called me saying I'm taking no responsibility, tell me my mother has like said like, she said she literally admitted to crimes, admitted to trying to trying to literally drug me, and the officer said like, she's trying to medicate you, even though it was like literally drugs, like literally like it was like some type of, it was a Seroquel, I think it was. And the officer said, yeah, she's trying to drug you, or she's trying to medicate you, go back inside, like just screaming at me. And they pointed like a bright like spotlight on me to blind me, just to like, I said that like, oh yeah, my mom threatened to rape me. I said that my sister tried to kill. I just said, and like, I'm under constant stress and constant abuse. There's always a chance of potentially something dangerous happening physically, and they've all abused me, or not, they've all insulted me and called me a compulsive liar and laughed in my face, literally, and screamed at me as well. And I just don't want that happening again. I don't want those type of police officers. And these 2 police officers were actually finally some people that actually semi heard me out. The people that took me to the voluntary mental health thing semi heard me out. I could tell they didn't really believe the abuse or most of it, or they thought I was over exaggerating, or I was just mental health and it was just teen something. But they semi heard me out and they were respectful. They were at least respectful. I just don't want to be insulted and abused and put down. And I don't want to make it seem like asking for help is something that I should be shameful about, because that's what the officers told me. Multiple officers said, well, one said this almost exactly, and then one other basically insulted me about it, saying I'm wasting their time, or I'm not taking accountability. I keep on asking for help. They literally said that. The police said that when I told them of all the crimes and abuse. They said something and this same type of thing, but one officer said almost exactly something like this. They said, I need to take responsibility. I need to do it. I need to do the actions myself and stop trying to get everybody else to help me. I need to just do some. It was I don't even remember exactly, but it was just the most insulting thing of I'm literally asking for help, what I should be doing, and you're saying I'm wasting your time, and saying I need to take accountability and I need to respect and I need to. I forgot exactly what he said, but he was screaming. He was not full on scream, but trying to be so stern and so more better than, and so much power, and just he was just saying he literally said he said stop asking everyone around you for help. You need to do something. You need to do something. You need to. It's just bullshit. And I just don't want that extreme horribleness. It's the stuff if I should have caught it on camera, dude. It's the stuff that if anybody saw how these people were acting, how these officers were acting, it would legitimately, I feel it might go viral because of how I could not believe it, and it's happened multiple times, of them laughing in my face, calling me a compulsive liar, saying I need to take accountability, saying I need to quit asking everybody else for help. But literal insults, not stern talking to, literal insults. But I just didn't catch it on video, and it pisses me off. I want these people fired, dude, because of how just I can't even explain it. I can't, and I don't, and I have a lot of it blocked out of my memory because of trauma and because of brain fog. But it's crazy how it was like a movie. It was literally like a movie. How horrible I was treated by so many police officers. In reality, it was probably 4 police officers, but it was multiple, because they come in either duos or trios or whatever, but it was probably 6 total that were just incredibly abusive to me and just insulting my character, insulting my. It was just, it's not believing a word that comes out of my mouth. I don't know. And I feel I'm not saying it correctly. I'm making it seem like I'm overreacting, but these guys and girls were so horrible to me. And I just don't want that happening again. And I also don't want to waste police officers' time. And I don't want to, if I don't want to have some police officers take me there when they could be saving somebody, or could be saving someone, or in a shootout or somebody or something, and save lives. And instead they're just transporting me to a mental hospital or something. So that's why I don't really want to call 988 or text 988 and say like, hey, can someone drive me? And the other thing is like I could also have the therapist talk to me about the program. I had an intake, and she said like, oh yeah, these people can drive you places, like they can give you transportation, and because I had an intake appointment, therapy appointment, and then they said they'll get back to me in a week. She said like, we will get back to you in a week. We'll text you or call you or email you. No response. I texted the therapist themselves, and I called them, and no response. So, and it's been weeks and weeks from that. So, I don't know. It's just tough. That's the mental hospital. I'm probably gonna end up going soon, though, as just like a step. I at least want to try that out, because the goal of getting out of the house is going to require me to do multiple things and try multiple things, obviously. Then there's Windy Youth Shelter and just shelters in general for like runaways or homeless teens. My friend Deshaun, I think his mom might have a friend. Like I used to be friends with. I don't really talk with him anymore because I don't play basketball anymore. But he said like, or I think like his mom might own like a halfway house, or like I think it's called a halfway house, or like a place for runaway children. And I texted about him multiple times, like, oh, I heard that your mom, and he just hasn't responded or some shit. So, and that was like months and months ago. Oh God, I have that horrible experiences. Fucking okay, I don't even want. Oh God. With his mom, and just like, because we had a whole thing of like, whole argument. I had arguments with his mom on text because she had a kid, and I made a video about this, and it was called A Lesson I'll Never Forget. I think that was the video. I was arguing with her because there was this kid named James and this girl who was abusing puppies, abusing dogs, and then just laying them, and they're just like, they were like a runaway couple taking drugs and doing alcohol. And I was just trying to like say like, because apparently they committed crimes against Deshaun's mom, or like used to live at Deshaun's mom house or halfway house and then left. And the thing is, I helped them get puppies and I helped them get dogs, or like find out how to get dogs, because she texted me and she hit me up, and we texted. I was like, oh yeah, this is how you get free dogs on Facebook or whatever. And then she had 2 puppies that she probably abused and neglected and just threw out on the street. Then she had another puppy named Posey, which I literally helped her get physically. And then she said she gave to a homeless guy. And it's just like, these people are fucking sociopaths or some shit, but they're good people deep down, just like everybody. And then I had a whole thing with him because my Deshaun's mom said he was a pedophile, or he was texting young girls on his phone, and that the police were looking for him. So I texted him like, oh my God, what the freak? And so I ended up telling him the location of where he was at and everything. And then she changed her story. She said, oh, he's actually not a pedophile. He's not texting young girls on the phone, because he's like 17 or 18. Oh my God, dude. And she just manipulated me, or she said some dumb shit. I don't even know, but apparently she has. And what hurts me is that she said, and I was trying to get her to call the police and everything, and I was, oh my God, so fucking retarded. She's a fuck. But like she has a halfway house where I could maybe stay at. But then like Windy Youth Shelter is a place where I've heard I could go. I've called months and months ago, or like months. It's probably like 6 months ago, because that was when I was in a really bad state. And I asked if I could stay there, and they said all their spots were filled up, but just call later, like in a few months. They said that all their spots were filled up, because I think a runaway, or like a homeless kid, can stay there for up to 21 days. And I'm probably going to end up doing that. Or do something, just go to some shelters or something eventually. So yeah, that's all the things for the Job Corps. Yeah, Job Corps. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Job Corps is basically a thing I looked up online. I think I'm just getting really bad brain fog, and I feel like my mental is just, I'm just becoming more sick, like, in my mind because of this. There's so much mold in this car, but it might be just placebo effect. Oh god, it smells. There's like really, I think it's actually mold, or like something is wrong in this car, dude. And I can smell it through my shirt too. It's like it's just a bad smell, dude. But this is like the only place where I could get any privacy. So it's like I'm gonna have to. It's horrible, horrible. I'm just breathing in mold. But anyways. What was I gonna say, dude? Job Corps. So apparently, Job Corps is a fucking program where youth who are, who live in places. Dude, wait, hold on. I actually look pretty cool right here. I look pretty handsome. But anyways, youth 16 to 20s, I think, are able to apply and get to a what's called Job Corps, which is like you do a trade. Like a trade is like construction or art or something, and then you basically, like a job, you work there from like 7 or like 8, from 8 to 4 p.m. or something, and then you literally, and it's like full on campuses. It's kind of like a prison, the best I could describe it, or like a college where you live there. You stay in rooms with other children, like 2 to 4 beds per room, and you can stay there, and you basically, instead of like school, I think it's literally like you do, like you train for a like specific career, like construction or it smells horrible. You train for like construction, or you train for like trades, basically, and trades are like careers. It's like construction, carpentry, mechanic, engineer, nurse, doctor type thing, all those types of things. Now, oh god, it smells horrible. Now the problem with that is, and you live there. It's like and it's free, and it's like if you're 16 to 20s, low income household, which I'm pretty sure we are. Pretty sure we meet that criteria because we have programs and stuff I think we're getting. Then it's also like another requirement is like possible chance of homelessness or like something. I forgot the requirements, but I think I meet those requirements to get into Job Corps. And so it's literally like you live in it's basically like you live in a school it's basically like you live in the school. You can't leave the school campus. But I've heard like maybe you can get into maybe if you spend enough time there, you get like certain memberships or something, or like you increase your rank so you can walk out on the weekends, and you can like spend a couple hours on weekends outside the campus or something. But it's literally like a school prison, which like sounds like my worst nightmare, considering, because I've said so much about how much I hate school and how horrible school is. Plus, it's really going to hurt if I'm just never allowed to like be by myself. I'm never in nature. It's really going to hurt if I'm not in nature, and I'm like, if so much of my schedule is controlled and I always have to do something, if I'm never have time to just relax and be by myself, and if I'm always like if it's always like scheduled where every hour I have to do something and I never have choice of what I get to do, that's really going to be fucking hard. And then on top of that, like it's going to be like I do that, but once I'm in Job Corps, which I'm not sure if my mom will be consenting to, it's going to be harder if my mom is not consenting to, but I might work that out. If I do a Job Corps, like there's no other, that's like if I decide to do that and I get everything ready for that, and I, to do that, and I get all the legal and everything, that's what my life will be like until I'm 18. Probably, because once I'm in Job Corps, I can't leave the campus or do anything, right? You can't leave the campus. You live there. You get $20 a week for food as an allowance. You get $20 a week, and you literally live there, and there's no exceptions. You can't. I don't even know if I can legally leave. Like, I think I looked it up, and it said, like, if you leave, like, they can't legally force you to stay there, but they can label you as a runaway or whatever. And I don't know if I can handle being in that environment for 2 whole years, or like almost 2 years until I'm 18 and I can finally get out of there. But that might be the most logical situation on how I get out of here is Job Corps, because at least it's a place where I can live, and I can have it's a place to sleep, and it's a place to live, and it's a place to eat for free. But if they if they say like you can't record videos, or you can't because these trades, whatever I end up trading in or like doing, that's not my career. I'm never. And what sucks is that it's like mainly focused on, okay, we're going to train you to do this trade, do this focus on construction, and then that'll set you up for the future, for your future as a construction worker. I'm not going to be no fucking construction worker. The fuck? Like, if anything, I like having the skill of construction, but I feel like it's getting a trade and doing all that is pointless, because I could learn that so much quicker. I could learn, like, I don't know how freaking good the program is gonna be, but like construction or like the other trades, it's probably not a good way of teaching me anyways, and it's meant for you to focus on a trade, and then it's meant to build you into where you are at a place where you can have a career in that trade, spend the rest of your life doing that trade. God. And that is just literally the opposite of what I want to do. If you've watched any of my videos, I've always said that I want to be the type of person who is masters and skilled in everything. And to be so controlled and do like, okay, you're doing this trade, you're working on this thing, and then the rest of your life you're going to be doing that. That's completely against my freaking message. Like, one of my biggest messages in most of my videos of being like what I want my life to be, which is I want to be free. I want to do multiple different things. I want to learn so many different skills. I want to be and the point is, I don't want to be any of these none of these trades will get me famous, and none of these trades will get me to a spot where I can change the world. I'm not going to change the world with no fucking construction. Ugh. Now, if I was a person who was able to change the world, if I was a person who was famous, or like in positions of power, or where I could influence people, and then I also had the skill of construction, that would put me in a scenario where I could bounce that off of. I would not only like get more power from it, because people would see that, like, okay, he's a construction worker, he knows what he's talking about, so I'm also a construction worker, or like I could be more relatable with people. But also, like, it's more so the fact that, like, I have that more power and more things under my tool belt. Rather, if I wasn't famous, then I wouldn't, like, if I wanted to master or like be good at construction, that's something which could give me an edge. It gives me edges, gives me tools, gives me skills, which I could then use to change the world better. Which I could use and it gives me experience, which I could use to get me a better perspective, or get me a better thing to do, or know what to do in that situation. Empathize with those people to know what laws to put in place for that people and whatever. But just construction, or just like any of those trades on their own, is the opposite of what I want to do. But then again, I don't know the program extremely well, but from what I know, that's basically what it is. You just you do trades until like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then you have free time or something like that, and then you do maybe more school, and then you go to sleep. Then you wake up and repeat. Then you wake up and repeat. Then you wake up and repeat until I'm 18 or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm not sure though. I'm gonna research more into that. But if they say I can't record and I can't make videos and stuff, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. But like the ideal situation would be getting a car, or like getting my permit, then getting to Job Corps, then like be only in Job Corps as a way to get out of the abusive environment, and also be like, it's Job Corps on its own will be a good experience because it's getting me, experience with stuff. I like it that it's gonna get me. It's gonna help me change myself, and then I'm just gonna be in Job Corps or stuff like Job Corps, or I'm gonna be in shelters, or I'm gonna be at friends' houses until the 6 months is over, and I can live in a car. But the goal is just living in the car, dude. I feel like that's like the biggest goal for me in terms of getting out the house, because the two biggest goals are saving my dog and then saving myself. But if I'm able to just get in Job Corps for like 6 months until I'm legally allowed to get my my driver's license. I'm having brain fog. I think it's because of the mold and also because of my mental health. Like that is the goal. But it's just like, if I'm okay with staying there, I don't know if I'm gonna be okay with staying there, because I might just not crash out like kill people or anything, but I might crash out and just like my mind might completely collapse out of just how hard it's going to be for my mental health and for like social anxiety, and just be like always controlled, always told what to do. But I think I can survive through that, and I can make the decision to do Job Corps if I have the knowledge that like, okay, I'm going to be here for 6 months, or this is only a stepping stone to my actual destination, and this is not what my life is going to be until I'm 18. That's the best case scenario for Job Corps. If I can do something, or if that could propel me to a point where I can set up a situation where I can live with other people, or I could be a roommate, or I can live in a car, then that is the best situation. Okay. That's Job Corps, and I'm probably going to get more interested. I'm probably going to research more into that. And doing stuff like this requires so much motivation to even research, let alone call any numbers or get any things like that. And then this is just like, I don't know if you can see it, options, and I'm so fucking scared, because I'm just so fucking scared of all of these things. And then this is the mindset, I'll do it scared, because that's what might actually get me through. So this is just transportation. This is this is just a thing of options. Get bike fixed. So that this transportation I could use just in the meantime, or for any of these goals, or for anything. Because transportation is a big thing. Get bike fixed so I can use my bike. Use bus. Do my bus pass. Test the bus out. Research how to do that. Uber, for that I need money for that, but I can do that. Friends' parents to drive me. That's a great thing. That's a good option. Okay, friends' parents will drive me, but like, also I don't know if they will let me, if they will like be cool with driving me places or stuff like that. Use skateboard. I don't know, like I feel like I'm uncoordinated on a skateboard, and my skateboard just kind of sucks, but use skateboard, I could do that. And this is something I wrote just now, actually, or like you saw me write it earlier in the video. Mental health options: depression, medication, contact today, because they were like, there's like an ad thing where like my mental health provider or whatever said like, oh, are you suffering with depression? Well, call us now and we can get you a medication. And the therapist that I talked to when I went to that voluntary mental health thing was like, oh yeah, we can you should probably take your PTSD depression medication that your psychiatrist said you should take, but you refuse to take it. Yeah, you should probably take that. And I was like, okay, fine. So yeah, so I'm probably going to contact them. I don't know if I'm going to contact today, because I don't know if I have the mental energy. I don't know if they're even open, but yeah, contact them, call the number, say like, hey, yeah, I'm interested in depression medication, PTSD depression medication, all that type of stuff. Yeah, so but those are options. Those are just steps to do, things to research. If anyone can help me with anything, please let me know. There's so much more to the story, and so many little goals and steps that are inside each and every one of those things that are so stressful, and so many ways. But it's also so many ways to go about it, which is cool, because there's different ways to go about it and ways to progress and ways that. But it's also not really cool, because there's so many failures and so many things that won't work out, and so many things that require so many things that I have to push past so many fears for, and that's going to take me hours, and it's going to take me days between those, each and every little step, to build up the mental energy to do that, and blah 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 blah. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing life, death, and afterlife. These are just a few of my options. I do have a lot of options. These are just a few of my options. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing life, death, and afterlife. Bye bye.